All right, so you're going to need this toolkit entry as we're looking over this. And we're going to be talking about types of samples from a population. So what we're talking about is how we take a good, fair survey. So think about it. If you wanted to survey who was going to vote in the next election and what candidate they were going to vote for, you wouldn't go knock on every single door in your neighborhood. That would take too much time and it would take too much gathering of information. You would try to sample and randomly sample the people in your neighborhood, and then bring that sample together with other neighborhood samples as well. So maybe one you're thinking of that you could do is what this example is going to talk about here at the very beginning. It says, when taking a survey, the population is a group of people about whom the information is being gathered. For example, if you wanted to conduct a survey about what foods to serve in the cafeteria, the population would be the entire student body. So think about it. There's about 1,000 students in the middle school. It would not be convenient or easy to sample every single student. So you would want to have a representative sample, which is a subgroup of the population that matches the general characteristics of the entire population to survey. Okay, so you would not survey all 1,000 students in the building. You would come up with some way of surveying them. So you could have one person stand at the front door, one person stand at the back door, and you could survey every fifth person coming in the morning. Or you could stand outside the lunch periods and randomly pull every sixth person that walks by you. So that's kind of going into the next thing at the bottom here where it's talking about random. And it says there are many techniques for taking samples of a population. You are familiar with the convenience sample, the voluntary response sample, the cluster sample. Okay, so we didn't really look at those specifically, but a convenience sample is something that's easy to take. A voluntary response sample would be something that someone volunteers for, or if I said, hey, would you mind taking this survey? You're asking them, so they're volunteering to take it. And then the cluster sample, which would be like if I went to the band room and only surveyed the band students, that's a cluster of the same makeup of students. The last paragraph here says a random sample is representative of the whole population. Therefore, you can use random samples to make inferences or predictions about the characteristics of the whole population without having to measure every single item in the population. Okay, so you want to take a good representative sample because a representative sample would be a good random sample. If it's not a good representative or random sample, I'm going to throw this word out, it's going to be called a biased sample. Okay, that's an unfair sample. A biased means it's unfair. So if I only surveyed the band students, that would be unfair to the rest of the school population that would not be included in that survey. All right, let's take a look at the IXL. It's 6th grade IXL HH9. Jonathan, the host of the radio show, asked his listeners what they thought about the school uniforms. 670 of the 1,000 listeners who called were in favor of them. Is this sample of listeners likely to be biased? So it's going to be biased because it's only going to survey the people who listen to this radio show and who voluntarily called in. So is this a sample of the listeners likely to be biased? Yes. Jason puts the names of all the employees in the company into a bin. Then he draws 87 names out of the bin. Is this a random sample of the employees at the company? Did he put all of the employees' names in? Yes, it says that. All of the employees. And then he drew 87 names out of the bin, which would be random. He didn't say I wanted Peter, John, Mark, Ashley. He just drew them at random. So is this a random sample? Yes. Karen experimented with 11 exercises from each class offered at her gym. Each class has an equal number of exercises. Is the sample of exercises at the gym likely to be biased? So it says she experimented with 11 exercises from each class, equal amount of exercises from each class. So is this sample of the exercises at the gym likely to be biased? No, it's a good sampling. Wayne polled 7 parents living throughout each county in his state. So he polled 7 parents living throughout each county. Each county is the same size. Is the sample of the parents of the state likely to be biased? He polled the same amount from each county, and they were parents. So he didn't pool like 7 parents from this county and 7 children from another county. So is this sample of parents likely to be biased? No, it's a good random sample. Irene surveyed 45 oldest members of her club. Is this a random sample of the members of the club? What do you think? So she surveyed only the oldest members. She didn't include the younger ones. So this is biased. So is it a random sample? No. I hope this helps you with the IXL. Good luck. If you have questions, feel free to email me.